The Kremlin elites are increasingly leaning towards the need to end the war against Ukraine. The founder of the investigative publication, The Insider, Roman Dobrokhotov, stated this in an interview with Ukrainian journalist Alesya Batsman. According to him, even the closest circle of dictator Vladimir Putin, from influential oligarchs to the security forces from the so-called Ozero Cooperative, are increasingly calling for negotiations and an end to the conflict. The reason is simple. Russia is exhausted. Its financial and military resources are running out, and hopes for victory are fading. Within Russia, there are different forces with different positions, including from Vladimir Putin's inner circle. Putin himself is determined to continue pushing, Dobrokhotov said. He noted that the head of the Kremlin continues to cling to the illusion of a breakthrough that is supposedly about to happen. His military entourage keeps promising him, "It didn't work out last time, but now we're almost." According to the journalist, Putin cannot admit that he made a mistake and is trying to convince himself of the possibility of at least a partial victory. At the same time, in the first days of the invasion, it became clear the blitzkrieg had failed, and Ukraine was ready to resist as long as necessary. He united around himself the security forces who believed in victory, pushed through the elite, broke society, but everyone in jail, and everything failed. Dobrokhotov added, "Now," he said, "pressure is increasing from those who recognize the catastrophic consequences of the war for Russia." There are a large number of people around him, including those from his closest circle, who say, "We need to reach an agreement right now, while it's still possible, because the money is running out," he emphasized. For now, Putin, according to Dobrokhotov, is not ready to make reasonable agreements, continuing to drag out the conflict despite the destructive consequences for Russia. According to Dobrokhotov, the Russian dictator has never been in such a dangerous situation as he is now. "If I were Putin, I would be afraid of an assassination attempt." In addition to Ukrainian intelligence, an assassination attempt could be made by our own people, the journalist stated. Recall, income from oil sales to the Russian budget in July fell by 30% compared to the same period last year. This was reported by the Bloomberg agency, citing data from the Russian Ministry of Finance. The main reasons are the fall in global oil prices and the strengthening of the ruble, which deprives the Kremlin of critical foreign exchange revenue. According to the agency's calculations, oil taxes have fallen by almost 33%, amounting to 710.4 billion rubles, or about $8.9 billion. Total gas and oil revenues have fallen by 27%, amounting to 787.3 billion rubles. It's a worrying blow to Russia's finances, with raw material revenues accounting for about a third of the federal budget. Moscow faces growing pressure to meet massive military spending.
U.S. President Donald Trump said, "We'll see what happens," regarding his threat to tariff nations that use Russian oil, which could increase import taxes dramatically on China and India. "We have a meeting with Russia tomorrow," Trump said regarding the ongoing war in Ukraine. "We're going to see what happens. We'll make that determination at that time." According to Associated Press, the president said in response to a reporter's question that he has not publicly committed to a specific tariff rate. Trump also told reporters that he plans to name his pick to join the Fed Board of Governors soon, though he is choosing whether he'll nominate someone to permanently join the board and possibly succeed Jerome Powell or simply serve out the remaining months-long term of Adriana Kugler, who resigned as a governor last week. "I'll be making that decision before the end of the week," Trump said. The president repeated that he has 4 candidates to succeed Powell, whose term as chair ends in May 2026. Trump has said Kevin Hassett, his White House economics aide, and Kevin Warsh, a former Fed governor, are 2 of his picks. He declined to name the 2 others. Trump also repeated the notion that he may send some of the incoming tariff funds to the American people. I think there's also a possibility that we're taking in so much money that we may very well make a dividend to the people of America, he said.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a big day for a lot of reasons. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you still plan to follow through on your threat to impose 100% tariffs on all countries that purchase Russian energy, including China?
Well, I never said a percentage, but we'll be doing quite a bit of that. We'll see what happens over the next fairly short period of time. But we'll see what happens. Yep. You know, they have a meeting tomorrow. We have a meeting with Russia tomorrow. We're going to see what happens. We'll make that determination at that time.
Have you decided on a replacement for the Fed governor?
For Fed governor? I'll be making that decision before the end of the week, and we'll either decide on one for permanence or the 4-month period, the term. There's a term of about a number of months. We have a couple of candidates. I mean, everybody wants it, okay? It's not a couple, but we've narrowed it to a couple of candidates. And we've also, we're looking at the Fed chair, and that's down to 4 people right now. Very good. Well, I can tell you, because I've already said there's 2 Kevins and 2 other people, okay? And he would be probably favored at this point.
Mr. President, how much more would you like DOGE to cut from the federal government?
Well, it's not so much DOGE anymore. And by the way, I have to say that somebody from DOGE was very badly hurt last night. You saw that. A young man who was beat up by a bunch of thugs in D.C. And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run. But it's not a question of DOGE. We have great people, secretaries and all, working with DOGE and cutting with I said with a scalpel as opposed with an axe. They're cutting with a fine-tooth comb, and they're getting rid of people that aren't doing their job, or bad people, or bad things, bad policy, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we've been very successful in that. And there's more cutting to do, but there's also more getting. We want smart people in government. Our country is doing great. I think we are doing probably, maybe in many ways, better than we've ever done before. You know, we're taking in trillions, not billions, trillions and trillions of dollars from other countries who, for years, took advantage of us. They took advantage of the United States like we were children, and that's not happening anymore. Now they're paying a lot of money, and they're paying hundreds of billions of dollars. Individual countries paying hundreds of billions of dollars. You're seeing what everybody else is seeing. And we have a lot of things we can do. You know, one of the questions asked of me this morning is, are you going to make a dividend to the people? And the purpose of what I'm doing is primarily to pay down debt, which will happen in very large quantity. But I think there's also a possibility that we're taking in so much money that we may very well make a dividend to the people of America. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.